Hello, today I'm going to show you how to fold Skela Gamma Kusudama designed by Maria Sernayskaya. Thank you to Maria for kindly giving me permission to demonstrate this beautiful model. This simple modular origami model is folded from 30 units and is surprisingly sturdy once complete. Captions are included for this video along with a simple navigation menu in the video description. Diagrams for this model can be found on page 116 of Maria's new book, Zen Origami. I recommend folding this model using paper which measures 5 cm by 7.5 cm or 2 inches by 3 inches. This will result in a model approximately 12 cm or 4 3/4 inches in diameter. You will require 6 15 cm square sheets of regular cami paper or similar, 1 to create a folding template and 5 more to make the modules. Using 5 different colours for the modules results in a nice effect, as I'll demonstrate in the assembly. We're going to start by folding a thirds folding template. For this I'm using paper which is 2 different colours. This isn't necessary, in fact you can just use plain white paper for this. It's just so that you can see the difference between the 2 different sides of the paper and the desktop. So to start with, we need to fold this corner on the bottom left hand side to the top right hand side to make a diagonal crease across here. So lift it up, align the 2 corners. When you're happy that they're aligned, make a crease and then unfold. Then we need to make a crease that runs vertically through the center of the model. So to do this, we're going to align the left hand edge with the right hand edge. Lift up the left hand edge, bring it to align with the right hand edge. When the 2 edges are aligned, make your crease and then unfold. Next we're going to make a crease that runs from the center at the top here down to the bottom left corner. So to do this, we're simply going to pick up the top left corner and making sure we get a sharp point here, make a slight pinch and roll the paper around till it meets the center point at the top. And then unfold. Now we're nearly complete with this. Next what we need to do is create a crease that runs through this intersection here. So lift up the left hand side and roll the paper along, making sure that you keep the top and the bottom edges aligned until you get to the intersection, which is just here. Then once you've got to the intersection, again make sure that the top and bottom edges are aligned and make your crease. This is the thirds folding template complete, with 1/3 here and the rest of the paper 2/3. Now I'll show you how to cut the 30 sheets of paper using the folding template. Take one of your 5 sheets of paper. Again, I'm using paper which is coloured on both sides so that you can see the difference between the template and the sheet of paper, but you can use paper which is white on one side and coloured on the other, as only one side will be visible in the final model. So start by placing your paper into the template like so, and make sure that the edge of the paper lines up with this edge of the template. It's sometimes easier if you leave a slight gap between the top or the bottom, and this helps with alignment later on. Take the right hand edge and fold this to align with the green edge of the template. Make sure that the top and the bottom are aligned, and then make your crease and then unfold. Now we're done with the template, so we can take this away, and we have a piece of paper now which is split 2/3 and 1/3. Now all we need to do is bring the left hand edge to this crease that we've just created. So lift it up and bring it to the crease that we've just created. Make sure that the top and the bottom are aligned, and then make your crease and then unfold. Now finally, we've got 3 equal parts to this piece of paper. To create 6 parts, all we need to do is divide this in 2. So to do this, we take the bottom edge and bring it up to the top edge. Like so. When you're happy that they're both aligned at both ends, you can make your crease and then unfold. Now the paper is divided into 6 equal 2 by 3 ratio pieces, which measure 5 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters. Do this for the 4 remaining sheets and cut the pieces up to give you a total of 30 pieces of paper. Now we move on to folding the module. I'm using a piece of paper which is slightly bigger for demonstration purposes, but you shouldn't have any issues folding with the 5 by 7.5 centimeter pieces of paper which we prepared earlier. Again, my paper is coloured on both sides with a lighter and darker green to help you identify which side of the paper is showing, but you only need paper which is coloured on one side. To start with, we need to divide the paper in half along the centre vertically. To do this, we take the left hand edge and align it with the right hand edge. When you're happy that both of the edges align, make your crease and then unfold. Now we need to create a crease between this corner here and somewhere about here by taking this top left corner and bringing it to the central line, whilst making sure that we get a sharp point on this bottom left edge. So I find it easier to get the corner roughly to the crease, get a nice sharp corner at this bottom left edge, and then just adjust slightly before making the crease. Then we need to repeat that on the right hand side of the model, but this time the bottom right corner comes up to the central crease. So again, bring that roughly to the centre, get a nice crease on the corner up here, and then just finish the alignment with the centre just here before creating your crease. Next, we're going to turn the model through approximately 65 degrees by aligning these 2 edges to the top and the bottom, like so. Then we're going to fold the model in half. By bringing the bottom edge up to the top edge and checking that they align before making the crease. Then we unfold and the model should look like this. The next step is to bring the top and the bottom edges in to meet the central crease. So starting with the bottom, lift this edge up and align it with the central crease like so. When you're happy, make your crease and then repeat for the top. Bring the top edge down. You can leave a very slight gap there if you wish, and then make your crease. Then we need to fold the module in half along the existing line that's already there, like so, by bringing the bottom up to the top. Now the next step shows folding the piece on the right hand side along the line of the module here. I find it's actually easier to lift the module up and fold in the air and actually do it on this side instead, folding backwards. So all we need to do is fold this edge back, and it almost naturally lies along the line that's already there, and then make your crease. Then turn the model over, and that's the step complete. Then we need to fold this point up to align with the bottom edge. So simply lift it up when you're happy that it's aligned with the bottom edge, pinch it, and that side of the module is now complete. Then repeat the last two steps on the other side of the module. This is one completed module. Just before we go into the assembly, let's just have a closer look at the unit. We have a pocket here and also a pocket here, and then we have a flap on this end and a flap on this end. Now let's move on to the assembly. Start the assembly by taking two pieces and use different colours if you're using more than one colour here. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a flap and this is a pocket. So to start the assembly, we take the two units and we slide this flap into on the red into the pocket on the yellow piece, like so. But at the moment this isn't very secure, it can just slide straight out of the pocket. So to lock it off, you actually lift the the pocket on the yellow piece up and then back down, and then that locks the two units together. Okay, so you can just pinch it there if you wish to make sure the two are together. Now we take a third unit, again use a different colour if you're using more colours, and we work our way around and attach it. So slide the flap on this green unit into the pocket on the red, and then lift the pocket on the red to lock the green unit in place. Again, you can pinch it slightly. You can actually fold all of the modules up like so. So that's 3 units assembled. Then we take a fourth unit, slide the flap of the blue unit into the pocket on the green, like so, and then lock it into place by lifting the green flap, the green pocket over the blue, and you can pinch it again to secure it. Now this is an icosahedron which we'll be making, so 5 edges meet at one point. So we take another colour, our final colour, in this case purple. Again, take the flap of the purple and slide it into the pocket on the blue piece, and then lock it into place like so by lifting the pocket on the blue piece up. Now we're nearly done with these 5 units. We just need to connect the yellow unit to the purple unit. So carefully slide the yellow flap underneath the purple into the pocket on the purple, and finally lock it in place by lifting the purple up. This blue one is just flapping up a little bit, so we can just pinch it into place. Now we have joined 5 units, and it's important when making an icosahedron to ensure that there are always 5 units joining at a point. As we're using 5 different colours here, it's nice to have an even colour distribution. So there's a very simple rule to follow here. Obviously there needs to be 5 colours meeting at one point, but also we need to make sure that the unit which joins these two up is the same as the unit opposite. So in this case we've got a green unit opposite, and it needs to join between these two. So I like to think of it as making a star of 5 and then carrying on with a ring of 5 around the outside. Slide the green unit into the yellow, lock it into place, and then lock the green unit to the purple unit, and again just flick that up and lock it in place. Now we've created one of the faces of the icosahedron, and we just work our way around. So this unit here between the blue and the purple is going to be red because we have a red unit here. Now we've used 10 units up and we have 5 faces to the icosahedron. So now what we need to do, if we turn it over and imagine that it's sitting on a point. Here we've got a yellow, a green and a purple unit. So at this junction here we need 2 more units, which will be a red and a blue unit. We know which one's going to be the red unit because it needs to be opposite this red here, and likewise we know which one's going to be the blue unit because it needs to be opposite the blue one here. So that means that the blue unit is going to connect to the purple and the red unit is going to connect to the yellow. So let's just add the blue unit in. Like so, and we can see that that is opposite the blue and then a red unit. So we have 5 different colours meeting at that point now. Now we just need to carry on doing this all the way around the module, so we've got 2 more units to add at this point. 2 here, 2 here, and also 2 here. So at this point here we have a yellow, a blue and a red, which means we need a purple, which is going to connect to the yellow, and a green, which will connect to the red. and that has created the second set. You'll notice that this purple and this red unit want connecting together. Now you can either work your way around and put all these pairs of 2 in and then connect them, or you can connect them as you go. I prefer to connect them as I go, so we're going to connect this red one to this purple one here, like so. And then it's just a case of working our way around and adding 2 more here, 2 more here, and 2 more here. Now the model's really starting to take shape. We started with 5 units on the bottom to form a star. We then added 5 around the bottom to make a ring, and we've now added 10 units onto that ring, creating 5 triangular faces around the edge. So to complete the model, we're now 2/3 of the way through the assembly. We need to add a ring of 5 around the top here, and then we'll move on to create the 5 units of the star. And now the ring around the top is complete. So now it's just a case of adding the final 5 units to create a star around the top of the model. I find that the use of something pointy like a toothpick can help with the assembly of the final units. This is a point where you may find it easy to use a tool such as a toothpick. So we're just lifting that up, which allows us to get that flap and lock into place, and it's especially useful for the final unit which goes across here. And that is the Skella Gamma Kusudama complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial and will consider buying Zen Origami to fold more of Maria's wonderful models. Links to Maria's Flickr, Facebook and Instagram are included in the video description. Thank you for watching.